I've seen this commercial out for a while now, and it's really getting under my skin, and I've really got to say something about it. Welcome folks, Flipknot here, and we're going to begin with a little story of something that happened with a friend of mine when I was a teenager. So I worked in a lot of pizza shops. I've made pizzas for 10 years, in my first 10 years of working professionally. Since I was 15, I worked in pizza places. So the bass player in my band is about 6 months older than me, and he got a job with me over at Hungry Howie's delivering pizzas. You have to be 18 to deliver pizzas, hence the 6 months old. Whatever. Dumb punk rock kids and dumb punk rock bands doing dumb punk rock things. Well, one day I come up to grab a pizza because we're poor punk rock kids, and I see that there's cops everywhere. I'm like, what up, man? What happened? Apparently, my friend had run over a girl in his car. And what I learned from that situation has a lot to do with this Volkswagen commercial. And this Volkswagen commercial has been driving me insane. As some of you may know by now, I enjoy riding a motorcycle, and when I ride my motorcycle, I try to be an example that motorcyclists aren't all pieces of shit. I try to follow the laws, I try not to cut people off, I try not to split lanes. Not saying I don't, but because at the same time, we all know how it is to just get screwed over every day by people in cars, trying to run us off roads, not stopping at stop signs, running through lights. You know how perilous and scary and dangerous a lot of these things can be, so I've kind of got to know what some road laws are through trying not to get killed. And here we are to this Volkswagen commercial. The Volkswagen commercial begins with this Gen Z hipster tool bag who just doesn't care about anybody himself, just does whatever he wants, and just goes about, puts in his earbuds. The world doesn't exist except for his world. Doesn't excuse himself, just walks through people's worlds. And cut to this poor, responsible adult who has to slam on his brakes because this millennial hipster, absent-minded idiot is just watching his phone and walking across the street while not paying attention and ruining this tax-paying family man's day. And doubling back to an irrelevant story of a friend of mine hitting a pedestrian in his car. The point of that story was this: nothing happened to my friend, not even a ticket. All because of, and this is why I know this, and this is why this bothers the living crap out of me. According to the police officer who was on the scene, he said that the pedestrian was not on a crosswalk, hence it was not the driver's fault, it was the pedestrians taking their own risk to not be at a crosswalk and walking across the street, whereas if you're using a crosswalk, the pedestrian now has the right of way and whoever is in the motor vehicle has to stop for the pedestrian. As soon as somebody hits those zebra stripes, as soon as those little lights start flashing, they have the green light and you have to stop for them. So yes, through this whole commercial, this little hipster kid is just being a tool bag. Except for the one big thing this commercial is trying to portray is the one thing that he was legally in his rights. Whereas the now clearly frazzled 9-to-5 commuter who buys a responsible car, safety regulations, good gas mileage, SUV, good for the whole family, good for the environment, as that poor fella has to slam on his brakes because he doesn't want to follow the law. He's the one who wasn't paying attention. He's the one who should have stopped. And this is just drives me insane having to see this commercial all the time now. And it's like, Volkswagen is telling you, screw the hipsters, break the law. Is that what's going on? Because again, through this entire video, this guy's a complete tool bag, and this is the one thing that he does correct, and that's the one thing we're chastising him for. Am I wrong? Am I right? You tell me. You got a comment section. You all know how to use it very well, apparently. Y'all know how this works. Don't forget to like this video. Do not forget to subscribe. And as always, folks, catch you on the flip side.